and gentlemen, this is Ramon Ray, founder of Smart Hustle Magazine and smallbiztechnology.com. And I'm so excited to be with you here today to bring you another amazing entrepreneur who has an amazing story about all things hustle, which is what we do. I'm talking to Crystal here, who's the founder and CEO, I believe, Crystal. You can correct me on that if I'm wrong, of PantyProp. And Crystal, thank you so much for being with us and sharing with us your journey of entrepreneurship.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So we met Crystal at a Wix event. Wix, for those who don't know, is a do-it-yourself, and you can get help as well. The do-it-yourself web creation service. And I heard you on the panel just talking about your journey of success, your business. I'm sure you've had some challenges too, and that's what I'd love to talk about today. So, in a nutshell, what is PantyProp? Who's it for? What is it? Who's it for? What is the product about? What problem does it solve? And then let's get into the mechanics of the company itself.
Yeah, so PantyProp are feminine care products that was developed for people who are unable to use insertables such as tampons. It's a full collection of products that are usable in everyday use, such as underwear, swimwear, sleepwear, things like that.
Got it. And it's amazing, those listening, this is not it's feminine products, but as a guy who's been married 25 years and has a daughter, this is all of our issue. So
Yes.
Kudos to you for creating the product. And then let's dive right into it. And again, Crystal, as we said kind of offline, what I like about your business is that we can learn so much from you. So maybe let's first talk about, I guess, how you started. Can you think about day 1, day 10, day 5?
Yes.
In juxtaposition, I think if that's the word, to today. Give us Ramon, we were like this when we started out. Here's what we're like today. Help us understand that give us that arc.
Yeah, so we were like nothing when I started out.
Okay.
I had no more. I was a controller, so I had business background, accounting wise, but I had no idea like design wise, marketing wise, nothing when I first started out at all. I didn't know how to create a website. I didn't know how to do nothing. The only thing I could tell you is like, you need to lower your budget. You're spending too much.
But you knew numbers, I must say. That's my weak area,
yes,
Crystal's numbers. So you knew numbers. Go ahead.
I definitely knew numbers.
Uh-huh.
Then fast forward to a few months later,
okay.
I researched everything, got everything I needed to do just through research, and I self-taught myself everything that I know, and I really know nothing. Wow. Everyone tells me, I think I know like 5% out of 100 of everything that I do, like when it comes to marketing, production, being a supply chain manager, being customer support, how to speak to people. That's another thing I don't know. I don't know how to speak to people. I know how to speak, but I
would never know it.
I don't, because I'm very direct. So I didn't know anything about nothing, and I just self-taught myself and just went from there. And fast forward to now, like I built like a multi-million-dollar company. Like just last year alone, we did $5 million, and
congratulations.
I'm telling you, I want to pitch myself. So that is, it really was like hard work, but it didn't feel like hard work. And it really was just a matter of just thinking big, and trying to figure out what I needed to do.
Got it. And then I
would never tell myself no. Like if I wanted to do something, like when I wrote my patent, I was like, I'm not going to pay somebody $7,000. I actually read the website, called the phone all day, and then moved to Virginia for 30 days.
No.
Yes.
No.
It really is the truth.
Wow. See, that's epic. That's the hustle in you. And I'm curious, and this is, you were started in 2015, so you're only 3 years old, am I right?
Yeah.
And Crystal, I mean, if you, as objective as you can, do you think, have you succeeded like this because there's such a great need and like people are saying, wow, I've been looking for this? Are there a few things you did right? I'm sure there's a combination, but I mean, that's a great trajectory of success. So there has to be a few things, Crystal, that you've done right. Anything you can think of, or is it just plain luck, which I doubt it is?
I think it's luck. People tell me it's not, but I think it's luck. But I think that I just created a product that bothered me. And then I realized that there was a bunch of other people, thousands of other people that were bothered that just didn't want to talk about it. And it just started from me just being completely aggravated one day, like literally aggravated.
Yeah.
And to this day right now, I think it's funny because I'm like, why was I so mad? I had like a pad that day.
Right.
It worked out. Like my anger towards it really worked out in that way. So I think it was creating a product that people just realized that they needed, pure luck,
right,
and like just telling everybody about the product.
right, right.
I think that's what it's a combination of.
Interesting. Well, that's a good, okay. So word of mouth does work. And I guess in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
19, 15, we can scale it. I no longer have to call my girlfriend and she tells somebody at church. Now it's like tweet, hit share, retweet, and you can scale that word of mouth, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah. Talk us through, Crystal, a little bit. Can you talk us through over the last 3-4 years some of the big evolutions in the company? You started it, got the patent, put a website, whatever it is. And then what was it like in the next year? Can you walk us through some of that growth? You know, because obviously you didn't go just from 0 to 5 million in one day. It took a little bit of time. Walk us through some of the big steps you can see. Hey, Ramon, we hired 2 people or 10 as best you can. And then I'll get into specifics, but give us an overview of that journey.
Hired anyone. I didn't really hire anyone. I don't until like recently. So it went from me just like designing a website, which was absolutely like sucky. I really did. Like on Wix, like where you met me. Like I designed the website on Wix. Every day, like when it wasn't as busy, like how you said, like the $5 million business, like when it went from making, I remember I used to make a comment that I used to just want to make 10 sales a day. So when I was making like maybe like 3 sales, I would just sit in front of it and just change it all day. And then I just became a pro at that. I realized that content was important. So I went from like, because I'm not the greatest writer, I went from wrong words on my website to like the greatest content. And it just kept growing from there. So it went from doing like just one person telling the other, using live chat, like through customer support, like just being there for the customer. And it literally just grew from that. I didn't do anything magical. I really didn't.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I think about it all the time. I did absolutely nothing magical. Now we're doing magical things, but for like the first 2 years, nothing magical. It was only me. Not for 2 years, but for like a good year, it was only me. I thought on a corporate level, but that's from my background. Like I really thought like on a corporate level, and no one would have known, like, unless I pissed off a customer, they'd be like, oh, this must be a one person. And I'd be like, actually, no, this is not. This is the customer support.
I hear you on that. And
create a ticket for you for
But hey, you gotta, people fake it till you make it, which I don't think is faking it. It's just being the hustle. But I think also you may have thought your website wasn't so great, but if people were buying, obviously it was good enough or something was great about it. So you may have been too hard on yourself.
No, now I know it wasn't. Back then I thought it was the greatest thing. But when you go back to look at it, it's like absolutely not. It wasn't.
Right.
So yeah, back then I thought it was. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, no, I've been dropped and put this here. Shoot.
Right. Very nice. And then let's talk about fulfillment then. So you have this product now, and yours is a physical product. Let's talk about that fulfillment journey. Did you have these like in your couch, in your basement, or were they shipped from some secret factory in China? Help us understand how many hits a website, what happens?
So for the first few months, I was handling fulfillment myself because we only had like a day. It was like from like 2 to 10 sales a day. That's not a lot. You could just ship that out. And then one day, literally, like from one month to the other, I remember it was March of 2016. I had already had like brought on, like at that point, I had already brought on like a customer support, like a real one. Like I didn't have to lie and be like, I'm
not a fake one anymore, huh? This is a real one.
Because I couldn't handle it anymore and do it 24 hours like I was promising. So I brought on that. It really went from like 10 sales to like 50 sales, like pretty much overnight. Wow. Which was like, I was like, okay, like maybe it's just like this time, but it kept growing and growing and growing from there. And it really literally went from that.
And do you know why that is? Do you know why that is?
I still to this day have no idea why. I don't. But it did give me more money so that I could start like doing other things, like bringing all my products to market. Doing a little bit of advertising at that point. Like, I don't really call it advertising, like $10 a day type of ads, $20.
But that matters. For us small businesses,
of course it does. Of course it does. Please, like, trust me, I remember. I used to be like, oh my God, am I going to put $20 on this ad? Right. Now I'm trying to figure out like thousands of dollars at this point. But it does really matter. Like it was like, that was like a major decision. Like, am I going to take it for $10, you know, just on that if or that wish, if that $20 is going to bring in more sales. it really just grew that way. Everybody asks me all the time, like, how did it grow? I really don't know. I don't.
Well, I'll
I
give you
know
the
what I
answer.
did. I just know what I did.
I think the answer is that little bit of advertising, which you can scale up now. I think that worked. I think the word of mouth works, and I think you have a product that has a need. This is not like, do you want to go to Great Adventure? I mean, this is a
That's
need.
my new answer.
Yeah. So
it's my new answer, what you just said. That's my new answer.
and I want to underline one other thing for our audience is that I think you say you had a corporate experience. I think that may help us. As myself, everybody has different backgrounds. I happen to be a marketer to a degree. I can market my way out of a paper bag if I need to. That's my skill set. What I don't have is the discipline of that corporate experience numbers. So I think we all as entrepreneurs, that's our common thread, we pull what we can. So I think for you, I'm guessing the discipline, the numbers may have been your asset to at least help the company.
That is, I knew how to run a business, and I knew how to act on and on that corporate level, which is a lot of the relationships that I have now that were built in the small days. I convinced my production company like to deal with me when I was like bringing fabric in bags.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, they laugh at me now. Like now they're getting like, hundreds of rolls. And they're like, remember you used to come in with the plastic bags? And I'm like, yeah, I don't even know why you dealt with me.
Wow. And is production done in the US or outside the US?
In the US.
Okay. Okay, very nice. And then let's also talk another thing about marketing. So today, do you have a system? Do you know how, do you like lead and sales funnel? Talk about what it is today, then what happens? How are you getting a customer today and how you're growing?
Yeah, so today I know who my customer is. I know exactly who my customer is. So what I do now with my team now is we zone in on our customer. We don't do anything gimmicky or anything like that. We touch on what was developed in the beginning days and how, actually, here's your answer. I went on education that people would be searching and asking questions, right? I wasn't trying to sell them nothing. It was like a two-way street for me back then. Like I really wanted to know like if this was a product that people wanted back then. So I've come to find like who my audience is, and that is who we cater to. Like we know exactly what they like, what they want you to say. And we're not doing it out of any gimmick. We're just doing it because we really want them to know that there's an option out there so that we're going to talk to them in a way that they want to be seen. And that's how, like our customers want very direct. They want you to be very, very direct. Don't beat around the bush. Like, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Do you have the size? Do you not have the size? Does it do this? Does it do this? And that's what they want. And we're very, very direct in all of our communication and everything. We're very direct. Not everybody likes it all the time, but we're very direct. We're not going to tell you something that is like just to get you to buy it. We've told people several times, like customer support, like one of the rules is if the person is questioning it, you need to tell them like only purchase when you feel comfortable. And you would never have most of the time a company telling you that. And then it doesn't work in your favor sometimes because then they get mad. And they be like, why would you tell me not to purchase? I'm going to purchase. Okay. But you're very, very direct in our approach. And it's always been like that from the beginning.
Got it. And I noticed your imagery is really on point, looks great. Now, do you have a designer, any professional, or do you do that yourself? Talk about some of the creative, because it's on point. It's great.
I have an in-house creative team now.
Okay, great. And then what is that? How many people, you can give an estimate or exact, but how many people power PantyProp right now? How many people do you have on the team?
Creative team?
The whole company, meaning overall, how many?
16.
Okay, 16. So it's a good size, small.
Including myself, 16. Mm-hmm.
Got it. And then what are some of the challenges that you can think of that you experienced either a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, challenges then or challenges now? I'd like for our audience to understand, man, here's where we had issues. Can you talk about them now and maybe what you've had in the past?
The marketing. The marketing side of it. It's still like a challenge. You said your background's marketing.
Absolutely.
Marketing is an ongoing battle and a headache all the way. It's always been the same thing. To be honest with you, I don't feel like it has even changed from day one. And that's from a company who knows who exactly like their customer is. Right. It doesn't change. I think that people think that it's easier. Like they say, like if you can put like a bigger budget behind it, like, oh, I'm doing like the $10. If I could just do, 10,000 a day. Right. Like, no, it's still the same headache of hoping that that return on ad spend brings you back something.
Yes, I hear you.
That way. Mm-hmm.
And measuring and wondering, where did this sale come from? Sorry, we didn't track it right and all that stuff. I totally get it. And then I know after we were at the event, you talked about Wix quite a bit, or it was a Wix event. But can you talk about that today? The Wix platform. I know Wix launched Wix CRM. There was Wix Code was launched, I think, last year. And overall, again, I am all into tools that smaller businesses can use as low cost as possible. I'm not one of these guys about free, though. I think you should pay for stuff. But as simple and easy to use as possible. How has Wix helped in this journey for you to grow your company?
Oh, wow. Without Wix, I wouldn't be here today because I told you I had no web development skills at all. Wix has been great. Like just from everything that needs to get done from the beginning, from when I didn't know anything of being able to design, it made me feel like I was like, I felt like I was like the I went to graphic designer school. Like I could do it all. I felt like I had my graphic designer MBA at that point.
I like that.
Right. When I look back, it was nothing. Like it was horrible, but they made it look pretty.
Yes.
And like how you said, like I don't know how I did it. They just made it look pretty and presentable for the customer. Which as for any company who is a direct to consumer or e-commerce knows that having a store is the most important. I didn't know any coding or anything. It just made it very easy to just drag, drop, and implement a button. And then start getting money in.
Yeah.
And that was what the most important thing is. Now fast forward to when it was a little more, when I became a little more sophisticated, I should say.
Sure.
They helped out with the live chat.
Absolutely.
That was one of the key things that was very important, like to have that on the website and to have that instant communication and that personal feeling, like with your customer. Even like from their the Wix store, like where the orders and stuff come from. Mm-hmm. It makes you be very like intuitive with your customer. It really does. And that was what's important, especially like with our product. It's a Taboo product that Wix just helped out in every single way in that. And I don't think without Wix, like without being able to create that website, because all the other stuff was confusing to me, I would not be here today.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad Wix brought us together. Hey, what can I say?
Yeah.
And then talking about the sale of the product, are you online only, or do you still have, or can I find you in CVS or something? Are you online only, or how does that work?
Currently right now we're online only through our website at PantyProp.com.
Okay, got it. And then I guess the last thing is that what do you do about the customer? Talk a little bit about customer service. How does that work? Not what are your policies, but can people return things, or do you have to train your staff?
It's such a hygienic product.
Okay.
You can exchange because obviously you sell it online, so people don't know their size or their daughter's size sometimes. You can exchange, and what we do is we do not restock the product. We actually donate it to a women and children shelter, but it still has to be unworn and unwashed. It doesn't even come back into our fulfillment center. And replacements out.
Got it. And then I think my last question, if I didn't ask you something, by the way, you wanted to answer, let me know. Hiring. What is your advice for us smaller businesses in hiring? You have a team of 16. Do you ever like, man, I shouldn't have hired this person, or maybe I should give them another chance. I got to fire fast. All those things I read and we talk about. Give me some of your gems on hiring and culture and team building. How does that work?
So a lot of the people who are with me now, I have very little, I don't have any turnover rate at all. Because I treat people like how I always wanted to be treated. As long as you do your job, we're good. As far as like getting that team, they all started off pretty much, the majority of them started off as, I would say like a consultant, and then they switched over to like a full-time employee. Like I didn't put any pressure on anyone. Like they were able to work with any company during that time, but now they're all full-time employees.
Got it. And I know that when you first hired, I want to underline this, and what I picked up is that it seemed like when I had pain is when I hired somebody to reduce the pressure. Is this something as people are thinking when to hire? I know I've heard this before from others. It's like when that role is being squeezed, so you don't hire too fast and you don't hire too slow. I guess, and my question is, how do you advise people to know when to make their first hire or when to make their 30th hire? Is there any advice that you're seeing?
Yes. Yeah, I had a lot of people tell me like I should hire to get this because I was trying to raise funds too at the time. Not no real serious trying to raise, but like just trying to raise funds. They would always tell me like, oh, you need a team. Don't let anyone tell you when you need to hire. That's my best advice. Hire when you know you're ready. I never even hired in crisis. I always hired because I was like, oh, let me try this. I don't know this, so let me just hire somebody to do it. And that's how I've hired when it's something that I don't understand and I just didn't have time to like understand it and go and research it. And I've hired that way. Like I knew like every business has this certain things that you have to do in order to be operational. And I just hired on the things that I knew that I couldn't handle or that was going to take up too much of my time.
Yeah, very smart. And which goes to that corporate sense, logic.
Yes.
Crystal, anything I didn't ask you or that, some things that other people asked that you wish you could have said? And again, I want to talk to you for 6 hours, but anything else that you wanted to mention that we didn't cover today in this interview? It's been so wonderful.
No, everything is good.
Okay, great. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been Crystal, and her company is PantyProp, an amazing company which helps solve a lot of issues and a lot of problems for all of us. So Crystal, thank you for your time. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ramon Ray, founder of Smart Hustle Magazine and smallbiztechnology.com.